Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this West Prairie Junior Senior High School contest between the BPC Lady Spartans and your West Prairie Cyclones. And now the starting lineups. First for the visiting BPC Lady Spartans. Number 10, Presley Brandt. Number 23, Sierra Shannon. Number 15, Abby Nelson. Number 30, Katie English. Number 34, Jaden Johnson. Spartans are coached by Andy Rotifer. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time to meet your West Prairie Cyclones. Number 1, Mason Shipman. Number 4, Taylor Phelps. Number 15, Haley Hendricks. Number 24, Abby Starbuck. And number 32, Allie Bunnell. Cyclones are coached by Grant Bland, assisted by Bailey Watts. Officials for tonight's game, Devin Raleigh and Keegan Steinkamp. Good luck to both teams tonight. Whew, well, here we are for better or worse, Johnny.
Yes, we are. If only the people at home knew what all we had to go through tonight.
You know, when you come in and you set up early and you think you got everything under control, that's when stuff happens. See, when you slap it together, then everything else goes on. And getting this one underway. Now, remember, it's a boys-girls doubleheader here, folks. They are going to run in this one. It is going to be 2 10-minute halves, but they will do stoppages of play in this one. Both teams are just 6 players, so we could end up a little bit short. As triggering it in will be Jaden Johnson. To English, shot on the way, put up by Brandt, no good. Starbuck tips the rebound out, and the Spartans get it back. Shot on the way, no good by Shannon. And Bunnell out of there with the rebound. Off to Mason Shipman. Cyclones set up offense, lob deep to Phelps. Threw it up to Shipman. Shipman looking around, puts up a shot. No good. Phelps had the rebound go off her hands and out of bounds. It'll be Spartan basketball. Now, folks, Spartan folks that are listening in, you know John. I'm Greg Phelps, one of the other crew that does some of this stuff. I stick mainly with West Prairie. As we bring you BPC here on BPC and West Prairie here on TSSR Game Time Live. Fight for the rebound. Shipman going to come down for the Cyclones and then try to tiptoe the line. That was a nice way to let that go through there by Devin Raleigh. I was impressed. Didn't realize he was that agile. Trigger in coming from Johnson. Johnson giving a look. Kicks it out on the outside to Nelson. Nelson back up top working for Brandt. Lost the handle and Allie Bunnell with it out to Shipman. Shipman going to look ahead. Picked up across half court and stepped on the sideline and turns it over. Spartans in the blue with the red and black piping on the side, and the white Spartans cross there. Cyclones in the home white, and the Cyclones have dropped into, looks like a kind of a weird shape 1-2-2, almost a 3-2, John.
Yeah, definitely they're on the defensive end. As you mentioned, I think that is sort of a 1-2-2, maybe a box and one set kind of type thing going on. But Bushnell definitely showing that they are keen to the 3-ball here early. They have been chucking those up here, and it's just under 9 minutes to go.
A little of the chuck and duck offense. Bunnell up with it, and then to Hendricks. Hendricks puts it up above her head, and she'll go to the free throw line. John and I are trying to exchange lists here. I feel like I've got like 64 lists in front of me, but then Hendricks off for the first free throw. Now, don't forget, JoJo's Gaming Parlor offers the best gaming experience in the McDonough County area. Stop in for a cold drink and a chance to take home a nice wad of cash while you're at it. Hendricks misses the second. And also on Game Night, check out TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH Events, live on the big screens. JoJo's, 776 North Cole Street, Bushnell. Dribbling out top with it is Nelson. Shot on the way, no good. Starbuck going to corral it. And a little bit of a little fight for it. English putting a little English on, knock it out of bounds. Out of bounds set. Triggers in by Johnson. Johnson in the corner. Looking to bounce. Bunnell doing a nice job there on defense. Good trap. Up top, another three on the way. And I think that one struck a little iron. This came through. Shipman will walk it across the timeline. 7:55 mark this first quarter. Lob into Bunnell. Bunnell able to grab it. Down to Phelps. She'll put it up. Won't go. And the rebound. Nice job. Allie Bunnell chasing it down on the corner. Up to Shipman. Shipman dribbling in. Shot on the way is no good. Bunnell, a nice rebound. And gave us the first one for Mr. Castleberry in the ball game. Hat brand built on two staples, comfort and style, specializing in snapback trucker style caps. Check out the selection and or consider customs to build your business at BarclayBillsCo.com. Don't let the hat rack fool you. There's always room for one more. BarclayBillsCo.com, wishing good luck to all athletes this season. Starbuck into Bunnell as it's swatted out of bounds by Johnson. Starbuck to kick it in. Early on in this game, we've been a little scoring allergic or adverse. As a couple slaps, ball goes out of bounds. It'll be with Cyclone basketball. John, we've seen a lot of shots go up, not much go in so far.
Yeah, early in this contest, Bushnell definitely hasn't seen a shot yet that they don't like. Putting things up here early and into possessions. West Prairie playing a little bit more methodical, but just not able to find the bottom of the rim. And as we say that, Hallie Hendricks underneath the basket gets the first 2 points of the game.
Nice bucket by Haley Hendricks. And now coming back the other way, dribbling it for Bushnell-Prairie City is Nelson. Nelson out top. They've kind of switched into a 2-3. And shot on the way, rolls in and good. A scoring explosion as English drops one in. Both teams' numbers challenged as 6 both ways. As Shipman nearly loses it out to Phelps. Phelps tried the lob to Hendricks, and Starbuck had to chase it. Hendricks, nice pass back to Phelps, out to Shipman. 3 on the way, no good. Just a little bit shy, and it stays 2-2 here. He says that as he realized he did not start the scoreboard. Silly him. There we go, a 2-2, 6:45 mark here. Kind of been a little discombobulated, John, tonight. That's just kind of the way it's gone. Bringing across the timeline is Nelson. Nelson down the far side, cut off by Bunnell and Phelps. Lob back into the corner, working it down for Shannon. Shannon dribbles. Nice pass inside for English. Missed it a little hard off the back iron to Bunnell. And Bunnell will start up the floor with it. Picks up her dribble, back to Shipman. Shipman will look, had Phelps open for a second. And then a little bump and foul by Presley Bryant as she bumped into Phelps. That'll be the second team foul. Been quite a day of basketball, John. 7th and 8th grade game beforehand, and then right into this high school doubleheader.
Yeah, a lot of games going on here at West Prairie tonight. Got a few more matchups for you tomorrow as both of the varsity teams will play, girls and boys. We'll bring you coverage of those games as well tomorrow night, starting at 6, I believe.
Yep, and as I was saying to several people, this is kind of a Missouri-style doubleheader. Missouri does this quite a bit. JV one night, varsity the next night. Shot by Bunnell, no good. Starbuck the rebound and traveled as she went to get rid of it. 2-2 tie here. 6:02 mark here of the first half. Again, it'll be 2 10-minute halves. There will be stoppages of play. Pass worked out there for Brandt. Stolen away by Allie Bunnell. Dribbles it off the foot of somebody. Hendricks says, got your back, partner. As ahead they go down the sideline. Oh! And kind of a vicious collision there.
Yeah, a couple players hitting the deck hard there on that far sideline. Hopefully everyone's okay. Shipman's a little bit slow to get up, but.
And if I'm not mistaken, she kind of fell right on the basketball.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like.
That hurts. I've done that. 2-2 tie here. 5:44 mark. Inbounds from Starbuck to Hendricks. For Bunnell. Allie Bunnell puts it up. Won't get it to go. Rebound. English snaps it up. That'll work it for Nelson, and Nelson will bring it across the timeline. 5.5 left to go here. First half. In the lane, kick out to Shannon. She'll drive in, and Hendrick, travel. Now, John, there, I thought maybe they'd call the body on Haley Hendricks, but did a nice job of sliding in.
Yeah, they're going to get Shannon for the travel before the foul, because I think that absolutely would have been a blocking foul on Haley Hendricks underneath the basket, but the travel comes before the foul, so it's back to West Prairie ball.
Shipman up with it, throws it quickly to Phelps. Phelps dribbles and has it batted away by Nelson. Nelson in the lane. She and Shipman fighting over it, puts it up, and foul by Shipman. She got called for the foul there. We'll have kind of shuffling people in and out. Like I said, it's 6-6, so anybody fouls out, we'll start having the numbers game. Free throw on the way. Banks in and good for a 3-2 Spartan lead. As now taking a seat is Shannon. Nelson eyes it up again. A little hard off the backboard. Fight for the rebound. Pulled down there by Johnson. And we'll have another Cyclone foul. 32 is on Bunnell. Box offensive set on the inbounds. The kick in to Brandt. Brandt in the lane. Nice block there by Hendricks, but rebound Karam around. Starbuck down with it. And we've got a foul whistle on Brandt over the back there. Substitution, Shannon will come back for her. Three to two. 1 point advantage here for the Spartans as Shipman dribbles it out top. Drive in the lane, Shipman lays it up, won't go. Rebound, Shipman pulls it back down, and it's poked out of bounds there by Destiny Sykes. M&B Furniture, Bushnell's only furniture store, a mainstay in the community, offers free delivery within 40 miles. For high-quality home furnishings, stop and see the fine folks at M&B right there in Bushnell or www.mnbfurnitureinc.com. And a first warning on Katie English. She got just a little bit aggressive. So now they'll switch Johnson out there. Starbuck bounces into Allie Bunnell. Bunnell has it poked away. Starbuck tried to save, but no good. And really, this is kind of interesting to see because for the Cyclones JV, they've played very few full games, John.
Yeah, very few full games. As you mentioned, this one having some stoppage time. Usually the games that they are able to get in are the 10-minute running clock halves instead of having stoppage time. So all these players getting a little bit more playing time out there than usual. That's always nice to see. And so far, the Cyclones hanging with the Spartans here.
And Nelson grabs it in the backcourt. Allie Bunnell all over. Nelson starting the other way. Lobs it up quickly, works it up for Johnson. Johnson down the lane, lost the handle on it. Kick out to Nelson. Three is up, little bit long, and Shannon pulls it down. Out to the corner she goes. Starbuck and ear steal. And they're going to say it was Shannon touching it while she was out of bounds. So it'll be Cyclone basketball. Timeout called. We'll step aside as well. This is TSSR Game Time Live here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
At Country Financial, we enjoy serving the community in which we live, big or small.
I love living in the Blandonsville area. It's where I grew up, went to school, and decided to raise my family. I never had a desire to live or work anywhere other than in a small town. I feel lucky to help my longtime friends and neighbors with their insurance needs. It's like working with family every day.
I'm Brett Powell, your local Country Financial representative, whose door is always open to work with you.
Dry needling is where you insert a filiform needle into a muscle, a tendon, a ligament, sometimes a bone, and it promotes blood flow and circulation so that it heals that particular painful area.
The Community News Brief. For all your local news, subscribe to the Community News Brief Weekly Edition, mailed directly to your home every Friday. You can also receive Monday and Wednesday editions by email. All this for only $42 per year or $38 per year if you're age 65 or older. You can also buy copies available at select locations in Bushnell, Colchester, and Blandonsville. Having slow, unreliable internet just doesn't cut it in today's world. MTC Communications offers lightning-fast, reliable fiber internet, video camera, and phone systems in McDonough, Henderson, and Hancock County areas, and is expanding quickly. Visit www.mtccrowdfiber.com to check your availability. Try to get the pass into Hendricks, and actually on that play, John, it's kind of a combination of two things. First of all, Hendricks has got to get better position, and then you got to always want to make a bounce pass into the post. Really stress that. And Allie Bunnell trying to put that one up from in the corner. Got to blocked. As Nelson brings it up, Shannon with it, a fake. Goes back to the far side, looking down in the corner, works it down in there for Johnson. Johnson down for English. English turns, bounces up through the legs of Shannon over to Nelson. Nelson had it stripped away. And Allie Bunnell with it on the run, strips it back from Sykes. As they come back the other way, over to Shipman. Shipman in the lane. Shot on the way, bounces out no good. Phelps the rebound to Hendricks. Missed it, no good. Starbuck. Now how about that? Shortest player on the floor, John, and she is really rooting herself in there to get those rebounds.
Yeah, Starbuck definitely plays with a lot of hustle, and she was almost able to come away with an offensive rebound there. That's one thing that West Prairie's been doing pretty good here in this game, those offensive rebounds. Again, a bit of a size advantage on that side for West Prairie, so making good use of it here early in this game.
3:14 left to go. Janelle Heaton with it out to Taylor Phelps. Phelps with a breakaway. In the lane she goes. Puts it up. Can't get it to go. And English out of there with it. Off to Johnson. Johnson back the other way. 3-2 lead for the Spartans. Nelson to Shannon. Stop and or pop. I don't know that they've ever stopped popping, to be honest with you. Shipman up with it, driving toward the lane, lays it up, and draws the foul.
Nice job by Mason Shipman there, getting a little aggressive, takes the body, and is able to get the shot up, so she'll take a trip to the line.
And Shipman will step in here. As it is 3-2, we are gridlocked at 3-2. 2:44 left to go in this first half. Free throw just a nudge short. And now checking back in for the Spartans is Brandt. She'll replace Nelson. I assume Nelson will foul trouble. Second one by Shipman rolls in, and we are knotted now at 3. 2:40 left to go here in this first half. Shannon with it, kick out, shot on the way is good. A 3 ball for the Spartans, and they make it 6-3. And over to Phelps. Phelps in the lane. Allie Bunnell puts it up, gets it to go. And just like that, John, we have a scoring explosion.
Yeah, big shot there from Bunnell, able to answer right back after a three-pointer from Bushnell. And again, I guess if you just keep shooting threes, they're eventually bound to fall, as Bushnell was able to knock down their first one of the game there, and that's going to be a travel on Taylor Phelps.
John, it's called the law of averages.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's why they call it average. Eventually, you're going to hit one. 6-5 here. Under 2 minutes we go in this first half of play. Shannon up in the lane. Now they work it out top. The outside, Sykes traveled with it. Nelson's going to come back in as English will check out. Janelle Heaton will trigger it into Shipman. And it comes. Shipman going to walk it across the timeline here. Zone 1-2-2 put on by Bushnell. Phelps with it on the outside, holds. Dribbles up. Whips it over to Shipman. Shipman down the far side. Puts up. Shot won't go. Phelps the rebound. Dribbles it out of there. And then as it tapped out of bounds by Sykes, applying a little pressure on her. Heaton will bring it in from the near sideline. Into Phelps. Phelps with a turn. Out to Shipman. Shipman over to Hendricks. Hendricks shot on the way. And off, Heaton trying to grab it. And traveled with it. So it turns it over to the Spartans. Spartans a 1-point lead here. English coming right back in. She'll replace Sykes. And John, you can see some good building blocks from these teams as they get experience. You know, Allie Bonnell, it's been a couple years, several years since she played. Seeing some of these young ladies gather some valuable experience as the numbers game hits West Prairie. And the bank always open as Nelson drops one in. Phelps shoots shot in the corner, no good. Johnson the rebound, off to Nelson. As they go back to work, and out of bounds it goes.
And to your point, Greg, it's always valuable to get some of these younger players more time out on the court, even if it is limited compared to what it should be due to the numbers. I mean, it's always nice to get out there because, as we said in previous broadcasts during the JV games, I mean, these are your Cyclones and Spartans of the future. So you got to get them as much playing time out there on the court during live action as you can. And this is a great thing that both teams have decided to do here.
Well, it's just, and again, this reminds me a lot of the, as I said, the Missouri teams did this a lot in the past. I'm not sure if they do it quite so much now, but they do used to do it a lot in the old days. You'd have both JVs play at one place, both the varsities played another place, and Nelson, and and that's definitely one. Folks, I'm thankful we don't have video replay because that was kind of nasty. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. You're watching TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
We're an 11-bed.
And we are back here. Glad to see her get up on her own power. But I tell you, when you bend somebody like that, folks to liken it to the NFL, offensive linemen, you see that happen a lot where they get their leg pinned and then they're bent backwards. And if you've never had that done to yourself, that is not pleasant.
No, definitely a scary sight there. Good to see her up and walking with a little bit of assistance there. Hope everything's okay, but definitely, as you mentioned, definitely a good thing we don't have replay because that one would make your gut wrench a little bit.
It would. Inbounds coming. Shipman with a nice steal, runs it on in, lays it up, lays it in. As the Cyclones claim their, get things a little closer at 9-7. Working in the corner, they're working around Johnson with it, not looking at Shannon, and that's the end of the first half of play. Now, I'm not sure whether they didn't count one basket as a three, but its score says 8-7 here at the half. So we'll check and correct on that. We're going to take a timeout. And you know what? Since he's close, I think we might get a word with Coach Sam to counter here at the half. We'll take a commercial break. Be back in just a moment. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
I chose MDH. We moved here and I was researching different places that would allow me to VBAC, have a vaginal birth after C-section, and the doctors here do encourage that, and so I chose that after looking online, and I wouldn't want to deliver anywhere else because they all go above and beyond, and they're so kind and actually care about you.
At Country Financial, we enjoy serving the community in which we live, big or small.
I love living in the Blandonsville area. It's where I grew up, went to school, and decided to raise my family. I never had a desire to live or work anywhere other than in a small town. I feel lucky to help my longtime friends and neighbors with their insurance needs. It's like working with family every day.
I'm Brett Powell, your local Country Financial representative, whose door is always open to work with you.
And we are joined by West Prairie Junior High coach Sam DeCounter. And Sam, good looking night for your guys. Wasn't quite what you wanted in the 7th grade game, but as you and I mentioned going out the door at the half, you could tell it was an off-day game. What I call an off-day game.
Absolutely. You don't go to school and you come home and you're at home all day and nothing ever seems right, and that's kind of what we got. And West Central's got a good 7th grade ball club. I mean, they're athletic. They are pretty good shooters all the way around, and we stayed with them. And here in a couple weeks here, or about a week from now, hopefully we'll get to see them in the regional, and maybe we can pay them back just a little bit.
And in fact, kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit before we kind of talk about the 8th grade. Regionals coming up here on the 21st on this Saturday. Who do you round out the schedule with this week?
We got Brown County on Thursday here at the high school. That'll be good games for both teams. Brown County is as solid as they've ever been. They're well coached, big, strong, athletic group. Really looking forward to playing them. Always do. Dane Flessner down there does a great job with that program, and so we're excited about what's going on there. And then we start 7th grade regionals off on Saturday at 1:30 with Bushnell. So hopefully we can make some noise in the regional, and we'll see where that goes. But the 7th grade groups come probably as far as any group that I've ever coached. I mean, it just the way that they've handled the pressure and handled everything that's going on. And the last part of the season for us has been unbelievable. Carthage, A-Town, Brown County, West Central. I don't know if you could have a end of your season any tougher than what we've had, and we've handled it in stride. And I told them that when we got in there. I asked any of them, I said, anybody think they played their best game tonight? And they all went no. And I said, we lost by 6.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that breeds some confidence in them, and when we can play well, we'll be able to.
Well, and Sam, let's talk about the 8th grade as well. I know, of course, you don't have Caden Russell this year, but I'm seeing some things out of some other players that have really stepped up. Ruger Olson's one that's kind of stepped up in places this year. Jace Brown, even the guys off the bench. My guy, Mr. Will, Max French has come in and given you some great minutes. Braden Gray, you've seen some guys take the steps forward they need to.
I tell you what, we talk about guys that know their role, and we talk about that a lot in practice, and probably wouldn't talk about that with junior high group, but that group is so mature that we can talk about knowing your role. And those guys know their role so well, and when they've got to play significant minutes, then they do. And that's and we have been, and they've stepped up really big for us here the last 2 weeks. May have to keep stepping up. We got some prayers going out to Aiden Percy here. Got some not so great medical news, so we're kind of waiting to see where that lands here for the next 2 weeks. But hopefully he'll bounce right back and go from there. But no, and those guys, I've never been around a group like them. They just love each other, and they're not mad because they didn't make a play. They're mad because they let one of their buddies down or one of their teammates down.
One of the closest groups of kids I've ever seen, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and really the whole junior high bunch. I know I've got the girls' side of it, and you see them all sitting up at the top of the bleachers here. And I've kidded them because they talk about how much I refer to what you and Jeff have done with the boys, and it is impressive. Well,
and I should say that. I have really enjoyed these last 2 weeks because I thought that was the last time I was going to get to coach them boys. And Jeff being on light duty with that surgery he had is really been fun for me these last couple of weeks, and it looks like he's going to have to stay that way for a while. So I'll as Phil Jackson said, we kind of got a last dance going.
There you go.
It'll be fun.
All right. Well, thank you, Sam, for coming
Yep.
up. We'll catch you around. I know we may be doing some regional stuff. Haven't heard from Dwayne yet. Hopefully so.
Dwayne, get the regionals on there.
Hey, that's as direct a pitch as you can get. And we're going to get this second half underway here, as it'll be Spartan basketball. And Shannon with it, dribbling in. We'll get your lineups in just a moment. And a push foul on Hendricks. It is Mason Shipman, Allie Bunnell, Haley Hendricks, Abby Starbuck, and Taylor Phelps on the floor. It is Presley Brandt, Destiny Sykes, joined by Sierra Shannon, also Jaden Johnson, and Katie English. Now, technically, folks, since we're home for both squads, that's why I try to throw in everybody's name, because technically we are, as I say, home broadcasters for both, and nothing I kind of hate worse than a homer broadcaster, which that's a discussion you don't want to get me started on. As both free throws good by Shannon, and ups the lead. Ups the lead out to 10-7. And now Allie Bunnell with it, shot off front arm, gets her own rebound, puts it up, biscuit in the basket, it is good. 10-9, so the Cyclones keeping it close. Sykes dribbling in, bouncing over for English. English out top, and that one hard off the backboard. Rebound batted around. Shannon controls it. And John, as Shannon steals it there. But there's a point I wanted to talk with you a little about, because you've seen more of the other squads that we broadcast for than I have. But it's really weird how this numbers thing goes up, down, up, down. Now, both these girls' squads really short on guys, but I don't think that's the case for the JV boys.
No, it's really not. The JV team for West Prairie definitely has a few players on it. And, I mean, as you mentioned, numbers go up and down as a season, as you get injuries and illness and stuff. The games that I broadcast up in A-Town, one night you have one starting lineup, the next night you got a couple guys out, and it's completely different. And it's been kind of much of the same for this West Prairie boys team. A lot of that is due to, just switching lineups, switching starters around. But there's some nights where you just have kids that can't play due to, various reasons. I know both teams here tonight experiencing some of that.
Sam mentioned Aiden Percy out, and it is very difficult. And some of it is not as many students go out for basketball, different schools, different things. I know what my numbers were for junior high girls basketball, but then volleyball, there's about 3 times as many. So it's kind of one of those things too. Students are a little more specialized than they used to be. As Shannon pops a 3 there, rattles out, and the rebound spiked out of there. Allie Bunnell on the run, traveled with it. And I had to giggle, and Mom's going to kill me for saying this on the air, but Erin Bunnell, I saw her hop up and make the motion to grab the ball with 2 feet, and get her feet underneath her. So I said, Erin's probably going to kill me for saying that, but a funny moment you see with parents in the stands. Shot on the way, no good by Sykes, and Starbuck with it, trying to get it. We've got a timeout called by Grant Bland. We'll thank some more of our very fine sponsors here on TSSR. Good Hope Gardens, located at 445 East Main Street, Good Hope, just east of the North Elementary School. Open April through October, Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For all your fresh produce needs, follow their Facebook page. You know what? They're preparing for the 2023 season right now. Grover and Mary Jo DeCounter and family invite you to Good Hope Gardens. Come see where it's grown. Located in the heart of Walnut Grove and in business since 1974, Ryden Farm Supply can meet all your needs for LP seed, fertilizer, and farm chemicals. Their LP service unmatched in this area. Customer service is one of their specialties. Give them a call today at 309-772-3121. And just some of the fine sponsors here. And folks, as we get toward the end of the year here, do me a big favor. Please go in and say something and say thank you to these fine sponsors, because they're the ones that make John and I's job possible for Dwayne to pay for all the equipment and all that he gets us and gets it out on the air. So please, 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 please make sure you say thank you to our fine sponsors. And John, we'll see how the Spartans adjust to not having Nelson on the floor. I did see her at least walking under her own power out of the locker room, a little gingerly, but at least under her own power.
Yeah, definitely a good sight to see here as Nelson emerged from the locker room. Again, walking under her own power, as you mentioned, a little bit of a limp there, but hopefully nothing too serious on that. And again, that was a pretty serious injury that we saw, or could have been a pretty serious injury that we saw there in the first half.
English with the foul on Phelps. No relation. Inbounds to Bunnell. She'll put it up on the way and gets it. And that's going to put the Cyclones into lead, 12-10. As now they come up here, Shannon trying to answer, no good. Rebound batted right to, yep, and we got a foul and one.
Big answer there. The late foul
As
gives
Johnson
opportunity for a three-point play.
Johnson gets fouled there. Sorry about tripping over you, John.
That is all right.
7-12 mark here of this second half. And Johnson at the free throw line trying to put the Spartans back into the lead. Not sure who got her there. Oh, it was Abby Starbuck, and that one grazed the front of the rim, but Shannon right there for the board. And now putting one on the way is Johnson. That is only a 2, but it is the dreaded long 2, and it makes it 14-12. (14-12) now. Handoff over to Starbuck, Crides across court it, and English with the steal, hands it off to Shannon. Shannon dribbling up, slows there on the near side, and has it batted out of bounds by Starbuck. Shannon ready to throw it inbound, and threw it to English. English didn't even see it. You can't draw that up, John. I can tell you as a coach, you do not draw that up.
No, the miscommunication results in a bucket, and I mean, I guess if you're Coach Rodefer, I mean, that's just the way you drew it up, right?
And the blocking foul whistled on Mason Shipman there as she impeded Sykes' progress. And honestly, if she'd have flopped over, that might have got a charge. Not that I'm suggesting acting, but it could have. Inbounds to Shannon. She'll dribble down and hand it out to Sykes. 3 on the way. No good. Bunnell the rebound. As she dribbles up the sideline, nearly lost it, throws it, and Sykes knocks it away. Picks it out of there. Dribbling away with it is Brant. Brant stopped up top, lobs down to Shannon, almost over her head. Double dribbled with it. Yep, she did. And to explain that at home, she gathered it with one dribble, held it, and then dribbled it again. So that thusly is why that is a double dribble. But John, yeah, we're starting to see things pick up here in this second half.
Yeah, both teams making some sort of adjustments during halftime, which resulted in a few more points scored here early. As you saw, Bunnell knock down a 3, and then the quick answer on the other end had a 3-point play and one opportunity, and then the offensive rebound into a long mid-range jump shot. So, as I said, both teams starting to score a little bit more. This game's starting to pick up and pace a little bit. It's good to see.
Lob in the lane to Phelps. And armbar in there, nothing called on that one. Ball caroms, I think it's off Shipman's leg, and is going to be over to the Spartans. Starbuck ready to trigger in. And somebody needs to move for there. Into Shipman. To Hendricks. Hendricks. Shot on the way, no good. Rebound tipped around. Hendricks picks it up. Shoot shot, won't go. And the rebound, English out of there with it. Over to Johnson, out to Shannon. And the Spartans on the way with it. Starbuck trying to cut her off. And ball off of Shannon's leg and out of bounds. It'll go over to the Cyclones. Shipman coming down with it. Long 3 on the way, no good. Hendricks had it for a moment, lost it. Actually going to say tipped out of bounds by the Spartans. Starbuck to trigger it in here. And the pass inbounds. Bunnell going to lose it. Off her hands and out of bounds. 5:15, clock rolling here in this second half of play as they bring it up. Shannon over to Brent, down to Sykes, 3 on the way. And as you mentioned, John, and that one's going to go out of bounds off the stanchion there, but I'm telling you, John, they are not shy about the three-pointer.
No, it's the 7-second or less offense on steroids here for BPC. Again, no shots that they don't like putting up early into possessions. 2 passes right into a quick 3, and it's somewhat been pretty successful. And as you mentioned, it's just that law of averages. Keep putting them up, and they'll eventually go down.
It is the chuck and duck offense. They used to call that the run and shoot offense in college football. Kind of what we've got in our version here in basketball, the chuck and duck offense as they go through this here. Do you want to mention more of the fine folks bringing you our broadcast tonight, like the Sports Corner at 124. Macomb's original local sports bar is the Sports Corner at 124. With a focus on local sports, catch WIU games and all the area TSSR Game Time live broadcasts at Sports Corner at 124. All while enjoying your favorite cold drink and some of the best food in West Central Illinois. Stop in and say hi. 124 North Randolph Street, Macomb. Say salute to all the folks watching this game tonight. All of you on our stream, and we will have the boys edition coming up in just a little bit as the Cyclone JV, Spartan JV, Hendricks with it, lobs it up to Phelps, out to Shipman, 3 on the way again, that one short of the mark, and Taylor Phelps going to scoop up the rebound, over to Shipman again, Shipman pops again, off the side of the backboard, no good, Starbuck the rebound, and lobs it out. Hendricks with it now, tries to get it down to Phelps. Phelps in the lane, out to Shipman. She'll dribble down, and we've got a blocking foul on Sykes. And that is going to be on the floor, so it'll be Cyclone ball out of bounds. Hendricks trying to dig her way in there. Get it. They get it to her, out to Shipman. Shipman, 3 on the way again. And the three-point fever is a little infectious, John.
Yeah, Shipman putting up a couple of deep threes there on that last possession for the Cyclones. Cyclones, to their credit, doing a nice job on the offensive rebounds, being able to get more attempts up. But as you mentioned, definitely Cyclones starting to play with a little bit less patience now.
And we've got a foul whistle that is either Shannon, English, or Sykes. As I think Phelps got a little irritated there inside, shook the elbow a little bit. 16-12, the Spartans with the lead here in this second half of play. You are watching TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
Well, I've always had an interest in the medical field, and then growing up, I actually went through physical therapy myself for an injury, and that got me back to playing my sports and the activities that I loved. So seeing that firsthand, I got to see how much physical therapy could really benefit others.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
And we are back here. I was just saying to John, Western Illinois University classes will start up tomorrow as everybody off for the Martin Luther King holiday. And I don't know how she get in there with those, but Abby Starbuck having to divest herself of medal. And usually they check pretty thoroughly for that stuff, but.
Yeah, played almost the whole game with them in. Just now catching on.
Shipman works it up, comes to the far side, loops it down to Hendricks. Hendricks turns, fires that one, gonna go off the backboard. 16-12, 4:07 left to go here in the ball game. As Brandt brings it up and on the way, holds, bounces down for Sykes. Sykes puts it on the way, no good. Bunnell the rebound. Bunnell with a hard charge up the floor and puts that one up, no good. Gets her own rebound, loses it out of bounds. Inbounds to Brandt, back to Shannon, who walks it up. Going out the other way, out to Brandt. 3 off the backboard, no good. Rebound, Johnson up with it and in. Right there to put it up and put it in. Spartans extending the lead out to 18-12. And back there, Starbuck trying to lob to Hendricks. And John, that's one of those where you applaud the player. It was a good thought. It was a good thought. Hendricks was open, but that may not have been exactly the play that you wanted at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, Hendricks had pretty good positioning down low, just trying to lob it up over the top of the defense, but just out of the reach of Hendricks. You know, Cyclones are now, as you mentioned, starting to play a little bit more like BPC, starting to rush the offense a little bit. I think they need to kind of slow things down and play more like they were in the first half of play, work the ball around and find these open shots.
And the Spartans are really starting to put things together a little bit. Shipman coming up with it. In the lane, fires it on the way and banks one in. As the bank is, of course, always open. 2:50 left to go here in the game. As Brandt bounces it to Sykes. Sykes in the lane for English. Karam's around to Shannon. And they'll work it around here. Bounce in the lane. English with it. Shot on the way. The turnaround J no good. And Allie Bunnell another rebound. Shipman up with it. Dribbling. Gets it picked. Bunnell grabs it. Gets it into Hendricks. Hendricks loses the handle. As Brandt gets it. And Johnson tries to save it out of bounds. I tried to describe it, but I'm still not exactly sure what happened on that sequence.
Players fighting over the ball almost like a football fumble there. Flying everywhere. Eventually gets tipped out of bounds. Sticks with West Prairie.
The Shipman open for the 3. It is good. Makes it 20-17. Go ahead, John.
As I say, just quick 5 points for Mason Shipman. Gets the free throw line floater to go. Quick 3 off the inbound is also good. So now the Cyclones, now if they get a stop here, chance to tie on the next possession.
And foul going to be whistled on Hendricks, be on the floor. As Johnson will trigger it in. 2:05 left to go here in the ball game, 20-17. Bounce it in, Johnson with it, and Hendricks just snaps it away. Shipman looking up, trying to get it to Phelps. Phelps couldn't quite bring it in. You could tell she was thinking about getting her feet right to go lay that in. Kind of one of those. John, what are you laughing at, John?
I'm impressed with the block there down low from Haley Hendricks. She's done that a couple times here through the season, but that was definitely one of the bigger rejections that she's had. Took it right away.
That was a get that stuff out of here. Shipman in the lane, lays it up, sticks it, and we got a ball game. 20-19, 1 point lead, minute 40 left to go. Brandt going to bring it on the way. Brandt, I thought she was going to pull the trigger, didn't. And now a fight for it. Shannon down on the floor. And possession arrow says it goes over to the Cyclones.
So here we go with 1:32 remaining in the contest. Cyclones a chance to take a lead on this next possession. They've played most of this game from behind, but a chance to take the lead as Shipman goes right to the rim. Can't get that layup to go.
Had the open lay-in, and then we've got a timeout called by Bushnell-Prairie City as they're trying to keep the possession there. A minute 24 left to go here in this game. 20-19 lead for the Spartans right here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MGH. JoJo's Gaming Parlor is the best gaming experience in the McDonough County area. Stop in for a cold drink and a chance to take home a nice wad of cash while you're at it. Also on game nights, check out TSSR Game Time Live events on the big screens. Stop by JoJo's, look at 776 North Cole Street, Bushnell, and cheer our area teams on to victory. Thanks to those at JoJo's tuning in tonight, and a salute to them out there as well for tuning in. and actually got a really big crowd tonight. Of course, a lot of the folks that came for the 7th and 8th grade game, they stayed here for the JV and high school games, which is kind of cool. And actually, I know, as I mentioned, they do this a lot in Missouri. Iowa does it some too. And what it does is it does that. Then you get some good-sized crowds for some of these games. And I tell you, some of those varsity doubleheaders are pretty special events. Remember, Carthage used to go down and play Palmyra back in their heyday. Man, you used to pack that gym.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, that's just one of those things, getting new eyes on some of these different teams. You know, you get someone that might only come to the boys' games. Now they show up for a girls' game, and then they just keep coming back. You know, it's just a great way to get more fans in the stands here, and it's really an exciting thing that West Prairie and Bushnell have decided to do for the past couple of years.
Great drive there by Shannon. Gets it over to Johnson, who puts it up and in, makes it 22-19. Shipman up the other way for the Cyclones, not under a minute yet. 3 on the way. Brought rain. Haley Hendricks puts it up, no good. Heaton the rebound and fight for it on the floor. And that's a travel on Brandt. She came down and just kind of rolled over. Heaton will load it here for Shipman in the corner. Shipman with the step back 3 and didn't bring anything in there. 50 seconds left to go here in the ball game. 22-19 lead for the Spartans. Cyclones will pressure. And it'll come to Johnson. Now up to English, back to Johnson, over to Shannon. Shannon nearly had it poked away. And then they throw it up, tapped out of bounds by Allie Bunnell. Shannon will trigger it inbounds here. And funny enough, the Cyclones kind of back up. They let her get it in English, out to Shannon. And Shipman will give the push. And John, that's one you got to be a little bit careful. Is that she was, Shipman saying that she was not shooting, but she was. They're going to give her the 3 free throws. And actually, John, the way it went, kind of lucky it wasn't called intentional.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a kind of a shove there. And I know you're trying to pick up the quick foul, but there's got to be better ways to do it than that. And as you mentioned, Shannon in the process of shooting. So now instead of just getting a normal take foul, you're sending Shannon to the line for a chance for 3.
Yep, makes the first. Second one on the way. It is good. And she'll ready the last one. Ready's the last one. Has hit 2 of 3 so far, 2 of 2, and 3 of 3. So 24-19. Inbounds comes to Taylor Phelps. Phelps looking to bring it up here, comes to the near side. Nearly has it picked, bounces over to Janelle Heaton. She'll lob it, tried to lob it to Hendricks and threw it out of bounds, and now they'll pressure on the inbounds. Shannon looks to trigger inbounds into Brandt. Brandt trying to get away from Heaton and does, driving in the lane. Goes to put up, missed. English out with it to Johnson. Shot is no good. And the rebound, Brandt. As Cyclones desperate trying to get it. And the 3 on the way, that's not exactly, I'm sure, what their coach wants to see when you've got a 6-point lead with under 30 seconds to go. That's one of those, you just hold the ball.
Yep, just got to kind of get away, get out of the corner there, avoid getting trapped, and dribble the rest of the clock out. So it's looking like West Prairie's not going to foul here in this situation. And again, just hold the ball, and we're going to see a 3 put up at the last second. Won't go, however.
And ball tipped away there. And the Spartans going to have it. That'll end this one. The Spartan ladies take this one home, 25-19, 6-point win here over the Cyclones of West Prairie. We're going to stop off for just a moment. And then we'll switch over to the boys' side of things because I know they're not going to take much time in between. So I will say thanks for tuning us in. Thanks for turning us on.